Welcome again to LifeQuest. This is our second session with Patricia K. Baimuse. She's an artist, gospel artist, a mother, and an administrator. She has an organization supporting the children and a school, and she has all these things together. And she's trying to help us understand why are marriages failing and why are people failing in their careers. Why? Because when we get to know all this, at the end of the day, we are trying to guard our hearts, to get the remedies. You in your career, our viewer, so that you as our beloved viewer to be able to learn a few things that will help you in your marriage, in your career, whether you're an artist, a gospel artist, a secular artist, and basically, I think all other areas, because if priority, I mean, like you talking about prioritizing, knowing what should come first and what should come second, and value, having the values so that you are not swept away. You go into the night club as a secular artist and you reach there, you've left your husband at home, you start giving in to those people around you because you need the boost for music, you need a new video. Hey, what do you have to tell these people, Patricia? When do you experience the breakdown, when you feel like things are not working out and you need to release the video, you need to do some things for your career, you need to balance things for children? Have you ever experienced a breakdown, emotional
Oh,
breakdown?
yeah. I'm a human being. I'm very human. I do. There are times when you plan to do something and things don't work out as planned. Definitely, you get disappointed and you are broken. There are moments when you have wanted to do your video at a given time and maybe money has not come as planned. There are moments when you have expected something to come through, maybe with your children, and things don't go as planned. And remember, Pastor Moses, as I told you, though we have all these projects we are doing, I'm in full-time ministry. I'm not a kind of person who is having a secular job where I go and work expecting money at a monthly basis. We live by faith, and I should say that God has been faithful and he has taken good care of us. But even in that faith, love, life that we live in, there are some challenges that we meet, and we have had breakdowns, and we things have not moved as we expected. But
Okay.
God is so faithful.
Okay.
God is so
Patricia,
faithful.
let us be realistic to our viewers. When
Yes.
do you experience, when have you ever experienced the breakdowns and how do you get out of them? Like you want to get something done and that something is not done. You want your husband to get something done and it is not done. How do you connect these events and see yourself out, you know, overcome it and happy again? And how do you, what is that experience that has got you down? And yeah.
I am one person who enjoys just resting in the Lord. And that is one thing that has kept me. That is one thing that has helped me in this walk of life. In every challenge that I face, I have learned to rest in God. I don't know how, because I cannot share it as a tool to somebody and say, this is how you do it. But I have that practice in me that in every challenge that I come to, when I feel I have come to the end of myself, I totally surrender to God.
Well,
Let it
what
be
if,
in marriage, let it be in ministry, let it be in family with children. I have learned to surrender to God. And that's how I
now
managed to
this
come out of
is
the boat.
this is where the problem is. You understand the spiritual atmosphere. I'm a clinical psychologist. I serve God. I do all these things. But scientifically, when our brains get wrong or sad news,
Mm,
definitely the body, the external, the output becomes poor.
yes,
The way we
yes,
respond to issues, the way we respond to daily routine of our lives
that's
becomes
correct.
it's affected. And
Yeah.
you've talked about uh, having your time with God. I know someone can get this as an amazing tool. But
Yes.
out of this, I'm learning. I want someone to learn this, that you get time to rest. I'll use the rest because it is the common knowledge for everybody, a non-Christian and a Christian. Resting. What do you rest on? What are you resting on? Now, resting in clinical psychologist is an altered state of consciousness, whereby you either sleeping or you are either letting something else work on your behalf. And I think this is why so many people, not so many people, probably some young people or young upcoming celebrities, stars, and all those kind, and people working in the offices go into addiction because they
Yeah.
don't know how to rest. And they don't know, because this is where you get yourself settled. Your blood, the pumping of your blood relaxes. And I love meditation, resting in the presence of God, because you are
Yes.
allowing something superior to work on your behalf.
Exactly.
This, I will tell someone else who is not a Christian that sometimes it is okay to give up. Sometimes it is okay to give up, but learn not to quit. So, in other words, you're trying to surrender and know that there is something that you are limited, you cannot achieve, and you need
Yeah.
another energy, you need another someone to help you, you need God to
Exactly.
take you through. So, I just really wanted to let someone know that when you're experiencing these breakdowns, what could be the first remedy? Sleeping is also just good, because you can go sleep, and after several hours of sleeping you come back fresh when you are able to really see things clearly. Because when
Yes.
you choose to go into other or stay, like say psychoactive drugs, that means that you're going into the direction of addiction. Because talk about this for someone who doesn't know about church, someone who doesn't know about God, or they know God, but they don't have the details of how to fellowship or to have a relationship. And all these details, how do they find themselves into addiction? And so I like the fact that you brought the idea of resting in Christ. And I'm making
Yes.
it simple for someone else to know that you need some time to rest. Don't always run. Don't always run. You need time to rest. And the best rest is just to know that you're having the positive energy around you. What could be the positive energy around you? Have the right people, have the right fellowship, go to the church, connect with the right people, the people that speak the positive energy around you, and just to relax and be, for those who understand this, you can be in the presence of God and things just work out. Well, I like that, but sometimes you do all these things and you wake up when it's still crazy, and you feel like things are just ugly. And how do you go about this?
You know what, Pastor Moses? The world has taught us to panic. When you don't have school fees, you run about looking for a loan. When you are broken, maybe your relationship is not working out, you run up and down to talk to a friend and all that. Me, one thing I have learned, like the Bible says in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 31, that they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. I know even those who say that they are not Christian, they know God.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
learn the secret of waiting on the Lord, you rest while waiting. You don't rest in suspense. You rest while waiting. And what the advantage we have for us as children of God is that we wait while we rest while waiting on a God who is faithful, who loves us too much. He's not about to disappoint us. He has good plans for us. So at the end of the day, even if things have not yet worked out, I know that he's working out something for me. So even if I rest, and wake up in the morning and things have not yet worked out, I don't give up.
Have you ever been
Why?
depressed?
Because I know God is at work on my behalf and in my favor. Come again?
Have you ever been depressed? Experienced
Oh,
depression?
wow. I have ever. In those years, when I was still naive, when I was still not mature in the things of God. Because when you know and get a full knowledge of God and how much He loves us, there is no way you can be hit by depression. Because depression comes because you're in a state which you cannot get yourself out of. And you don't know how you can solve it. You can't figure out yourself out of this situation. But when you are in God and you know God and you have a relationship with Him and you have a full understanding of His love for you, you cannot be hit by depression. Why? Because you know that God loves you and He's so faithful to fail you. So even if things are the way they are, even in that situation, you know that all things work together for good. Your eyes are always looking for those little good things that are connecting you to the miracle that God is working out for you. At times it may come earlier, at times it may take longer, but you cannot be hit by depression. Though there are people out there I know who are going through depression, and the only answer I give them, the answer is Jesus. He's the only one. He says, come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden. Depression comes because people labor and they are heavy laden, and they have a yoke upon their neck. They don't know how to help themselves out of it. But Jesus says, come as you are, and I will give you rest. I don't know how psychology teaches, but me, I know how the Spirit teaches. When you come and surrender to God and allow to rest in Him, there is a strength that comes, that pushes you, that even though things are not yet working out, somehow you have this strength to move on. And that is how I have managed, Pastor Moses. That is how I've overcome breakdowns. That is how I've overcome depression. That is how I've managed to make it through marriage.
Someone would need to get this because it is very important. That however much the remedies, whether clinical, whether in the hospital and everything, it's all about God. And it's all about God. And so that's very, very important. So I want us to look into this area of you are out there to the world, and there's a lot of blackmailing, there's a lot of cyberbullying. How are you ready to tackle this? How are you? And you know what's happening right now with your fellow artists? To say, I wouldn't love to mention their names, but you know how some things are happening on the social media, how they are bullying them. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for that war? Because how are you going to deal with this? Because it is real. People are going to listen to your music and they'll be like, oh, no, we don't like that. And so many opinions out there. And the more you give people access into your life, they think they have a right to your life. So how are you going to do this?
First and foremost, Pastor Moses, I have been a public person. I am not just coming out public because of the music. I've been on crusades. I've moved out really, and I know what it means to be in the public eye. You attract all kinds of criticism, and you attract all kinds of comments and all that. Even in my postings on Facebook, Instagram, I've had comments when someone says your makeup is not good and all that. You can come and get to a better person.
That's it. Okay. Just a minute.
Will always come.
Just a minute. When they tell you your makeup is not good, for you, you might rub it off, laugh it off. There's someone who thinks that is very big and they can lose it and even fail to go on the stage after reading such a thing. How did you react? How do you really practically?
Let me tell you one thing, Pastor Moses. If you want to be in the public eye, you must be focused. The only way forward is to be focused, and you remain on what you know is right. Because let me tell you, you cannot please everybody. Never. There will always be that person who says, Patricia doesn't sing well. She would have done it better. I don't like that fashion. But remain on focus. Remain on what you like. Why? Because that which you're doing has people who are appreciating it. So don't give your attention on those who don't like it. Give your attention on those who You know, who
Like
like
it. I
what you
love
do.
that. Yeah. So, so
Another
true.
thing, and another thing, Pastor Moses, we also have to be very careful. Me being a pastor's wife and being born again and being a mother and being whatever I am, there is a way the public expects me to live, expects me to present myself. If I start doing things on the contrary, maybe I'm posting photos with a young boy somewhere, maybe I'm putting on like that, and it will attract criticism. So you must be also careful. Work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Make sure that the things you present to the public are the right things, such that even if criticisms come, they come for the sake of coming, not because you are doing things that are attracting them. So it doesn't mean that you should just live on as long as you are doing what you like. No, you must, my God, don't go overboard. When you go off, you will attract criticism that can actually pull you down. But if you remain on course and remain focused and go by what you live for as a child of God, that one is important to me, Pastor Moses, in everything that I post. As
Wow.
give it priority, you are protected and you are safe. Whether
That's
they
awesome.
abuse you, as long as you're on the right track, you keep
One thing I
moving.
know that everybody with a talent, with a gift and everything, it all comes from God. And if you are criticized, if you feel you're being you're being pulled down, just know that God gave it to you. You can come out and fly again, and don't be a people pleaser. Be focused and do what is right. I mean, that is really important. And I wish someone who is watching this will be able to know that why am I doing this? Should I give into criticism, or should I give into what my dream is? Should I keep on my
Yes.
dreams? And or should I, sometimes these people who comment ugly, they even have that ugly life, because they speak
By
what
the
they
way,
are. They speak what
out
they
of the
are.
fullness of their heart, they do communicate.
Yes,
That's what the Bible says.
exactly. Yeah, they
Mm.
present what they have. That's the best they can
Mm.
give to you. So you need to know that you are better than them, because you're not on that level, and that shouldn't put you down. I appreciate you for that. And so so to say, oh, about this thing of marriage, relationship, I believe that some people have gotten to understand how they can balance. Like you said, balance, know the priority. Marriage should come first, work on it, serve your children, and therefore, career comes in next, your passion and gift comes in next, because the talents and everything need to serve your family and then to the other people. If
Yeah,
you cannot serve well your family and your husband,
exactly.
you cannot serve well the people who are watching.
Actually, your family, your husband, your children should be your first fans. If they
Yeah.
cannot enjoy what you're doing, then what are you looking for out there? Actually, they should be the ones who tell you that, mommy, you're making it. But if you leave home when people are complaining and you expect to win the world, then I think you're turning things the other way around.
How do you spend your free time? Like, how do you spend your leisure time?
Me, I spend my leisure time studying the word, listening to music.
Well,
I'm telling you the truth.
you're so much being
I'm so spiritual. I sound
uh,
so spiritual. But
not
that's the
even,
truth about
you're living
Pastor
in
Moses.
heaven. You're living in heaven. Let's come
I'm
back on
not.
earth. let's
I'm not.
let's
Maybe if you want to tell me, like, sometimes I move out with my husband for a cup of
Yes,
coffee,
I want
that's
to
what
hear
we do.
that, man, because
Yes.
it's
I thought you were
important.
talking about my free time as me, myself, because remember, Moses, I'm a very busy person, busy mother, wife,
By
church,
the way,
ministry. When I
let
get
me
time to
tell you,
myself,
from the
mm,
experience I've had as a clinical psychologist with other people, the time you spend with this leisure time, whether swimming, whether what, it adds a lot. Whether it nourishes, it brings the newness, the freshness. So uh, even when you're praying and you are the swimming pool, when you're praying and you're adventuring, hiking, and doing all those things, it helps someone to build up and strategize afresh. So I mean, it's not evil. I brought that because some people will say, well, I'm a Christian. I cannot go to this place. I cannot do this. So I wanted you to bring this out as a married couple, also as
Watch
you.
movies as a family. We do. We always look forward for one good movie. We have one particular person in the family who is always searching for new movies, and then we go to Netflix and watch as a family. I think that is basically it. But me, the way I refresh myself as Patricia is spending time, that moment I have in the presence of God, and I know that I've got it. There is that time you feel the presence. If I don't get it in a day, I can become the most moody person. It's like I've missed him.
What name does your husband call you?
Oh, he calls me honey. But in most cases, when we are amongst people, he just calls me by my name.
And you, how do you call him? Why does he call you by your name when you are around people?
I don't know, but I think I don't have a good answer for that. But I think it has a lot to do with that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. Maybe but he rarely calls me in public by my name. Rarely. He calls me honey or my wife or something like that. Rarely, but once in a while he does.
And
me, when we're in public, I usually call him pastor. I don't know why, but he's honey.
Okay. Should we say? I mean, is it a culture or anyways? I just wanted to just by the way.
I think we have we have been together for too long that certain things.
17 years is not so long.
It's not only 17, my friend. I met him before. We were in a relationship for 6 years before we got married. So we were friends. We were friends for a long time before we got married.
You think it's a good advice for someone to be in a relationship for 6 years before they get married today?
It depends at what time, at what age you have met the person. Because Tony saw me when I was 16 years. And he married me when I was 22.
We need to talk about that next time, about relationships and dating and things like that.
Yes. So he had to wait for me to grow. He had to wait for me to get to that. Yeah. Actually, he didn't propose me from the point he met me. But when you are mature enough, now like you, Pastor Moses, if you find somebody, you should marry right now. What are you waiting for?
Okay, well, that will be for another day. That will be for another day. But literally, we need to look into this as Christians, marriage, relationships, because Christian marriages are not doing good. And to some point, I think because we don't train our people through the process of dating up to what do they expect in dating and what happens to what extent, to what, some very obvious things that they need to know. And probably we'll talk about this next time, because people, unless they know, they will not know how to deal even with marriage. Someone is not prepared for dating. I don't know. Basically, I don't know how to date. So anyways, that's for another day. Okay. Would you really sing to us that beautiful song that you feel as someone needs to listen to and follow you on your YouTube and tell them your stuff, the handles on Facebook and YouTube or Twitter and all that?
Any of my songs, you mean?
Yeah, an a cappella of any of your beautiful songs.
Okay, let me see which one of the many that can match. Mukubera okwa Mukama funye mwesubi ngatamu kamere nga nono arwana entalo zange mukubera wokwo ssebo mwenfunye essuubi kamere nga nawe arwana entalo zange. You'll find it on YouTube and even my Facebook, Patricia Baimuse. Yes.
That is all the handles, Patricia Baimuse, all the pages?
Yes. Patricia
Okay.
Waimuse, yes. Apart from YouTube, I put K, Patricia K. Waimuse.
And you have all your music and videos over there.
Yes, I do. So far, I have put there 2, I think. And soon
That's
I'll
awesome.
be putting the 3rd and 4th next week. Yeah.
So, viewers, that has been Patricia for you, and this marks the end of our today's session. Until next Friday, it's been an awesome interaction. Hope there's something that you've learned out of this. This is Life Quest. We'll be sharing all about life, and we'll be sharing about relationships, finances, marriage, and careers, and all those sorts of events that happen in life. Just go on our page and follow us, Moses Tinsley Life Quest TV program, and ask any questions and tag us, and we'll get in to help you to answer your questions. Don't miss. And thank you so very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming in, Patricia, and joining in. Thank you so
Thank
very
you
much.
too for having me. It was a good time. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.